What is up, guys? It's Cartman here, and you're watching WGS-TV.
Hello everyone, welcome to another installment of WGS-TV right here on youtube.com/WrestleGamer and ZFX-TV. I'm Double B Billy Boudreaux. Got a couple of guys to introduce you here for this commentary. First off, he is the host of Hardcore Wrestling Radio, which can be heard every Wednesday night on blogtalkradio.com/Hardcore Wrestling Radio. It's the luminous one, the shining star, Rick Starr. Rick, how you doing?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. After I saw the ending of Raw, my eyes are hurting a little bit.
You and me both, sir. You and me both. And, ladies and gentlemen, he is the man from South Park, simply known as Cartman. Cartman, how you doing tonight?
What's up, people?
Now, I understand that you've been on a vacation to South Park these past few weeks from WGS-TV. How is South Park this time of year?
Awesome.
Alright, well, we're going to talk about Monday Night Raw for the week of February 18th, 2013. Yes, boys and girls, I was at this Monday Night Raw. We opened up with John Cena coming out, cutting a promo about WrestleMania 29. You know, he announces, Alberto Del Rio versus Jack Swagger. Then he starts talking about his match with The Rock, and that brings out CM Punk, who begins to cut a promo against Cena, and it kind of goads him in a sense into making this match for next week. If Cena beats Punk next week, then CM Punk has to shut up and go away. But if CM Punk beats John Cena, then Cena says that I'm not good enough to be in the WrestleMania main event, and I'll give it to you. And fans wanted to see it right then and there, and I'm pretty sure that, honestly, to me, that would hold off for a main event, because you wouldn't open up a show with Cena and CM Punk. I think that would be just flat out ridiculous. But as far as the segment goes, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Really can't say nothing bad about it, and it kind of gives us something to do more with CM Punk. I mean, he's had, he lost the title match at Royal Rumble, and he lost his rematch at the Elimination Chamber, so it really gives him something to do, honestly, in my opinion. So, but you know what, when we get to the Rock segment and what happened at the end of the show, I'll talk about that. Let's go to the first match of the night, and we're gonna go to Shining Star, Rick Starr, for that first match of the night.
Well, WWE lately has been doing a lot of squash matches, and frankly, that's really what this was. When you see Mark Henry go against someone like Sin Cara, what else is there gonna be? I mean, come on, Sin Cara, don't get me wrong, is a very talented man on his own. But when he goes against this man of the size of girth of Mark Henry, what else can there be? A squash match in every sense of the form. He's gonna squash him like a bug. After the match, of course, we saw the Great Khali come out and try to face him, because pretty much the way he had got beaten or squashed the week before. And we saw Mark Henry just quickly jump out of the ring, which I thought was a little weird, considering Mark Henry no problem squashing him the week before. Now, if you ask me, this looks like this is almost a setup for WrestleMania, which I'm thinking, please no. This is not a setup after we just saw what happened just weeks before. Overall, I can't give the match too much credit or too much value. Maybe 2.5 out of 5. If these two really start showing some kind of talent, I'll see what I can do. That's it.
Backstage, Daniel Bryan confronted Kane. Daniel Bryan heated over the fact that the fact that Kane did not hug Daniel Bryan during the Elimination Chamber, and the fact that Kane tried to eliminate him. So Daniel Bryan had then made the announcement that he was taking on Jack Swagger and didn't want Kane out there to support him, and Kane, vice versa, pretty much said the same thing about his match with Randy Orton, because he does not like snakes. Cue in the Viper, Randy Orton, and Kane said he hates snakes, and he takes a snake and he stomps on the head of him. Randy Orton retorting over the fact that Kane used to strike fear in the hearts of people, and at one point would make Randy Orton shaking his boots until he started changing over the fact that he became Barney. Wanted to hug it out and go to anger management therapy and whatnot. But I think this was a good setup to find out some of the later matches on for Monday Night Raw. So I think this was an okay segment. 3.5 out of 5 at best. Cartman, we had a no disqualification match up next between Miz and Antonio Cesaro. What happened in this match?
Yeah, it was actually a really good match in my opinion. That's really all I gotta say about it. When I first saw it, I actually did think it was for the United States title though, but surprisingly enough, I thought it was when I first saw it, but yeah. I thought it was gonna be for the US title because of what happened at the pay-per-view. But yeah, good match. Miz did end up picking up the win, I think.
Yes, he did with the figure 4 leg lock.
Oh yeah, with the figure 4. Yeah, I forgot. Fail. I'm tired because when we're recording this, my time is 1:47 in the morning. But yeah, I said yeah. Miz did end up winning via the figure 4. Overall, I'd say probably a 3.5 to a 4 out of 5. It was a good match.
Rick, I noticed on the drop toe hold spot into the chair before the figure 4 leg lock, they showed it on slow motion in the Cajun Dome, and it really looked like Cesaro came down and his throat was caught on the chair. I don't know if you saw that or not.
I did see that, and I don't know if that chair was a collapsible chair or whatever it was, or if he had pretty much found a way of grasping himself. It was a really good spot. That's all I have to say. If he was hurt, I'm almost afraid to, gather if he was or not. I mean, the match continued on a little bit after that, so
yeah,
and he wasn't really grasping his throat after the match. So I think it was one of those collapsible chairs. If you recall, I think shortly before his leave, Jeff Hardy did something similar. It actually was a match with CM Punk, where he had himself in a chair in his throat, and he ran him into the posts.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing it's a collapsible chair, because the chair did break pretty easy. Not sure. I'm certainly not the man to ask.
Backstage, Vickie Guerrero was talking on the phone and then gets confronted by Paul Heyman, wanting to know what's going on. Vickie said she had an announcement that would pretty much change Paul Heyman's career and his life in a sense, but she wasn't going to make it back there. She said that you're going to have to wait until we're out there in the ring. So that leads up to what I honestly believe is match of the night for this week on Monday Night Raw. Alberto Del Rio taking on Dolph Ziggler. A very great match. I mean, you got two great stars in Del Rio and Dolph Ziggler. And for those of you who have seen the previous video here on WGS-TV where you hear my sister, she really, just like for The Rock, she don't care too much for Dolph Ziggler. In fact, she flat out told me she hates Dolph Ziggler because she does not like his gimmick whatsoever. But it was one thing I did dispute with her is you still cannot dispute the fact that he put on a very great match. Del Rio ends up getting the win, but after the match was over, Biggie Langston really didn't like the fact that Dolph Ziggler got beat, so he ends up beating up Del Rio, and then hello, time to cash in Money in the Bank, or is it? Thanks to Ricardo Rodriguez grabbing the briefcase and then running like his little fast as his little Mexican legs, running for free burritos could take him to the border. Ricardo Rodriguez was off being chased by Biggie Langston. It's not every day you see a Mexican outrun a black man. I don't know if that's racist or not, but I'm still saying it. But then AJ grabs the briefcase, brings it back to Dolph Ziggler. Unbeknownst to Ziggler, Del Rio already back up on his feet, and then bam, you can actually hear it in the Cajun Dome like that, the foot echoing off the back of the skull of Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler knocked out, but by far, to me, match of the night, even including the attempted cash-in of the Money in the Bank briefcase, if I can learn to speak properly. It had a lot of energy. The crowd, including myself, was really into this match, and by far, barring the six-man tag, which we'll talk about when we get to it, this was match of the night as far as I'm concerned. 5 out of 5. Wade Barrett comes out next to talk about the fact that he's in a movie called Dead Man Down. Now, we see the trailer for it. However, the one thing we don't see in the trailer is Wade Barrett. And then next, Wade Barrett starts talking about how about the Barrett Barrage is going to be in Hollywood, and if anyone's got any objections to it, and make them now. And then next thing we see Sheamus on there, and he starts talking about the fact that Wade Barrett don't, he's glad that Wade Barrett's in the movie, but the fact, that's even better is the fact that Wade Barrett didn't have any speaking lines in the movie. And then next, if you have any objections, looks like we're out of time, can't do it, and then appears on the Titantron. I'm still scratching my head about what was the whole purpose of that. I mean, it was just maybe. For one thing, it was a good trailer for Dead Man Down. I will admit, it was a very good movie trailer. But the fact of the matter is, if you bring Wade Barrett out to promo that trailer, freaking show Wade Barrett in the goddamn trailer. That's all I'm going to say about that. And then the placement of Sheamus, and we've already had a promo backstage between Sheamus and Ryback. They were both very angry with the fact that they lost to the Shield last night. Jericho comes in and tries to fire them up and tries to make a match, for Jericho, Sheamus, and Ryback to take on the Shield. And then we find out via Twitter that Vickie Guerrero has made that match. And we already knew that at that point in time that Sheamus was already involved in the match. So why in the world stick him in that promo? It just really doesn't make any sense. But anyway, let's get to the next match at hand, Rick. As we saw a six-man, mixed tag match. We saw Brodus Clay and Tensai and Naomi of the Funkadactyls taking on Epico, Primo, and Rosa Mendez.
Well, again, I don't, nothing really special. We've known that the Funkasaurus and Tensai, they've been on a tear as of late. Tensai, before he hooked up with Funkasaurus, really wasn't that popular. He wasn't winning a lot of matches, but apparently he won one over on the Epico and Primo. So they did that double splat, so to speak, and they got the win. It was an okay match.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it was a bad match. I wouldn't say it was a great match. I'm going to be honest with you. I think if and when this team splits up, I think you're going to see Tensai's career go south.
Naomi really stood out to me in this match. I was very impressed. The springboard crossbody she did on Rosa Mendez, I will admit, I was very impressed with that. And she did a lot of impressive things, including that head scissors takedown she did on Epico. I thought that was a thing of beauty. And I'm not just talking about Naomi doing it. I'm talking about the execution of the move. For those of you, Rick, I don't even know if you didn't catch Elimination Chamber. Brodus Clay now has a new nickname for Tensai.
What's that?
Sweet Tea.
Sweet Tea. Oh God.
Score on the match?
I'll give it a 3 out of 5. Now, it's a little high, but I'll give it to him.
Now, we've seen earlier in the night that Zeb Coulter and Jack Swagger now have their own YouTube channel, which is, I believe, youtube.com/WeThePeopleZeb. And next one, we have the State of the Union with Jack Swagger from CNN News. I talked a little bit about that on my Elimination Chamber review, the new music of Jack Swagger. And the one thing I really did talk about a lot is the fact that this whole angle now between Jack Swagger and Alberto Del Rio kind of writes itself. If you look at the new gimmick, which Swagger, if I can learn to talk right, bringing in Zeb Coulter as his manager and his representative, and the fact that they're looking at this from their standpoint, and Alberto Del Rio being from Mexico, as I believe Cartman is snacking on something right now, right?
Yeah.
Hold on. May I interject?
By the way, you are right. It is We the People, Zeb.
Excuse me. It is not We the People Zeb, because I just went on to We the People Zeb, and their own stuff is blocked by WWE copyright.
What?
I am on the We the People Zeb, and their latest video that was promoted today is now the video contains content from WWE, who has blocked it on copyright grounds.
Okay, now I'm confused. I mean, why show the actual video during Monday Night Raw with the YouTube channel address on it and then freaking block it?
I don't know, but it is officially blocked, and now I have to go onto I have to plug this. I have to go on my own Facebook page and tell people not to go on it.
Well, for those of you who are listening right now on the review, do the same thing. I mean, apparently Rick Starr has looked at it, we the people, Zeb, and apparently the only video that they've done tonight on Monday Night Raw has now been officially blocked by the WWE, which makes absolutely, utterly no sense whatsoever. I mean, you feature it on Monday Night Raw and then you block it. I mean, that is just, it's like foot and mouth disease. Open foot, insert mouth. I mean, why in the world do that? I mean, well, the WWE did a lot of things wrong on Monday Night Raw tonight, and showing that thing with Coulter and Swagger, the YouTube address, and then blocking it, definitely a bad thing to do. But
Yeah.
But after the State of the Union address, which was basically Swagger and Coulter putting over the fact that it's going to be Swagger and Del Rio for the World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania. Bottom line, that's what it was. We had Swagger taking on Daniel Bryan. Cartman, what happened in this match?
Well, actually, I didn't really catch that match. I had to go do something.
Well, let me talk a little bit about it. I thought it was a good match. Noticeably, did see that Daniel Bryan sporting some tape on the ribs because of the fact that he was in the Elimination Chamber. So apparently, Daniel Bryan probably still a little bit sore from taking all the bumps on the steel at the Elimination Chamber. Bar none. I don't care what anyone else says. If you try to take a bump on steel, it's gonna hurt. No matter what. And Swagger did noticeably, I think it was on his elbow, he also had that taped up from Swagger, because he too was in the Elimination Chamber last night. Very good match with Swagger and Daniel Bryan. Finish came with Daniel Bryan attempting to do a turnbuckle dropkick, hurts his ankle in the process, which then leads up to Swagger slapping on the Patriot Act and forcing Daniel Bryan to tap out. Swagger wins via the submission. I'm going to give it a combined score with the State of the Union and the matchup. I'm going to go 4 out of 5. Ever since they redid Swagger's gimmick, I actually think it's been honestly an improvement, because what did he do with the All-American W champion for a short bit and World Heavyweight champion for about a month? At best, but other than that, what did he do? Absolutely nothing. But now they're turning Swagger's gimmick around with this Real American gimmick, and I think it's really starting to go somewhere. So I'm very interested to see how they build this thing between Swagger and Del Rio leading up until WrestleMania. Next up, we had Vickie Guerrero and Paul Heyman out in the ring, making the announcement. Vickie Guerrero now has an assistant to the managing supervisor of Monday Night Raw, and it's Brad Maddox. Why? Well, I guess now we found something to do with Brad Maddox instead of just having him go up there on commentary and just make a complete and utter ass out of himself. Then next, Vince McMahon comes on the screen and drops a bombshell on everybody. Because remember,
Especially Paul Heyman.
Yeah, remember what happened between Paul Heyman and Vince McMahon last week. Paul Heyman put it in writing, for the stipulation for the Rock's match Elimination Chamber, that he would do anything to have those stipulations added. So Vince McMahon kind of cashed in on that little promise by Paul Heyman. Now, he said he could fire Paul Heyman, but that's too good for what Vince McMahon said. So apparently, on next week's Monday Night Raw, Paul Heyman's going to be there. Vince McMahon's going to take himself there with his crutches or not, and Vince McMahon and Paul Heyman are going to fight. And you guys on my previous video, you guys kind of saw my reaction to that statement by Vince McMahon. That's all I got to say about that. 4 out of 5 on that one. Rick, let's get to the what I firmly believe was the other match of the night for Monday Night Raw. We had the 6 to it.
Didn't do that.
No, we didn't do that one. This was the.
Well, now you guys are back. We had a little bit of a technical problem, but now you guys.
Yep, I was continuing on for you.
Well,
go ahead.
Let me go ahead and let me restart you off, because this is where you were supposed to be in. Again, this is what I firmly believe to be the other match of the night. That's between the Shield, Ryback, Sheamus, and Jericho. Rick, go ahead and talk about this match.
Well, this match was very, I wouldn't consider it the match of the night.
Well, the crowd was into it. I can tell you from their personal experience, the crowd was really responding to all 6 guys that were involved in this match.
I noticed one thing though. I mean, maybe it was me, but I noticed when Ryback came out, he did not get a pop. He came out, and I heard
Well,
nothing.
well, me being there at the Cajun Dome, I can tell you this. I don't know if they edited out on television for some sort of reason or purposes, but me being there live, I can tell you for sure Ryback had a pop.
Okay, it might have been because when I heard everybody else from Jericho, even the Shield, they were popping. I heard them. I didn't hear it. I just why would they edit it out? Something's okay. I'll take your word over mine, certainly. But it was a decent match. I didn't really, I think some of the bigger spots was when Jericho had him in the walls. When they had, I believe it was
It was Dean Ambrose. Yeah,
walls of Jericho, and then Rollins. No, I'm sorry. Came up off the top of the rope and hit him with the knee on the top of the back of the head.
yes,
That was a good spot.
yes.
A lot of other, great. I noticed they were cheering for Jericho. They were cheering Y2J,
Oh yes,
Y2J,
yes.
Y2J. I really didn't hear a lot of for Ryback.
Well, you know what? I can honestly tell you, they probably, was there a commercial break taken in between this match?
There was one. Yes, there was the one commercial break.
Well, I can tell you that for a fact that there was a feed me more chant going on, but I probably figured it probably happened during the commercial break, but there was a feed me more chant going.
I see. Okay, well, like I said, I mean, again, it's just from what I saw, but nonetheless, I noticed that the Shield got the win again, with of course with a pin, of course, with help from the two members. I thought it was a good match. Definitely, I think the Shield's starting to come along. All three guys. I give it a 3.5 out of 5.
Cartman, next up we were
Though personally.
Well, next up we were scheduled to have Damian Sandow taking on Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston came out during the commercial break, I would assume. And then next, Damian Sandow came out, started cutting a promo that he was going to be doing things a little bit differently. And next thing you know, before the bell sounds, Sandow starts attacking Kofi Kingston, and then it spills to the outside. And then next thing you know, a shocker for Monday Night Raw, as far as I'm concerned, the return of R-Truth. R-Truth, we have never seen hide nor hair of R-Truth ever since his injury that he suffered at TLC, and both me, Rick, and Cartman say a pretty gruesome injury to his knee. I mean, that thing was nasty looking, huh, Rick?
Yeah, that was
Absolutely. Yeah.
it's disgusting.
He's only gone for about 6 weeks. I'm surprised he came back this quickly.
And it really didn't look like his knee gave him any trouble.
No, I don't think it was, because he even did the split. So I think he's 100%. There was even reports that they wanted him to stay out a little bit longer, only because of a staph infection. So he could have came back probably even sooner if not worried about the staph infection, the staph risk.
Yeah, I can tell you from personal experience, having a family member go through that, it is not a pleasant experience. But I'm going to give WWE ups and props for bringing back R-Truth at a very good time to help out his former tag team partner in Kofi Kingston. 4 out of 5 on that one. Rick, next.
Question.
Go ahead.
Before we go on, now that we see Kofi and R-Truth back, do you see them possibly going on to win the tag team titles at WrestleMania?
I can.
If they push him properly, that's the only thing I can say is if they use him properly, because before the Miz had a feud with Antonio Cesaro, who was the guy that was feuding with them? R-Truth. So they couldn't look at possibly an angle between R-Truth and Antonio Cesaro based over the fact that they could say, kayfabe wise, that Antonio Cesaro was the one responsible for injuring R-Truth and putting him on the sideline for the past 6 weeks. It's just a possibility as to what might happen. But Rick, let's talk about this next match, which I honestly believe kind of sucked the life right out of the crowd, because from what I experienced and what I saw there, and that's Randy Orton taking on Kane.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. Both these guys, I have a lot of respect for both of these guys. Only because they both been in the business for so long. Randy Orton, unfortunately, been becoming a bit of a spot monkey. And Kane's kind of becoming a bit of one too, unfortunately. And I don't want to insult either man because you know what, you know, I have nothing but respect for either one. But unfortunately, when you get to watch them, you know what's coming. You know the spots they're gonna do, and it's like
Honestly, I can give you one right now. When you're bouncing off the ropes, Randy Orton claps his hands, snap power slam.
exactly. But it's not just one or two; it's 4 or 5 or 6, and it's just like, when does something change? When does something become? They're becoming very, very stagnant in in that age in that spot in their life. They have that move set, and they're not gonna. They might stray a little bit to one or two, but not 4 or 5 or 6 or 7. I remember when Randy Orton was a little bit younger, he wouldn't mind doing that RKO from anywhere. Now, just give me a regular RKO, and I'm done. Give me that 6-minute match, and I'm happy. And Kane is pretty much the same point. Kane, I think, he's got maybe another 5 years, and I think he's going to be done. He just wants his, to come and go. Do I see anything wrong with that? Not really. I mean, he comes every night. He busts his ass every night. Um, but it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, uh, So it was just a very, very, just a very dull match. It was. I wouldn't.
Even the appearance of Daniel Bryan was actually kind of predictable.
Yeah, exactly. It's all becoming, yep, okay, here he comes. Yep, he's going to turn his back. Up, he's going to turn around. RKO, 1, 2, 3. It's like once you saw him walk down the ring, you know what was going to happen. I didn't even have to look up. I was down, like, doing some Facebook and stuff, and like, yep, okay. He turns around, RKO, 1, 2, 3.
Which kind of leads me to believe the breakup of Team Hell No will be coming very, very soon. Rick, your score on the match?
I have to give it a 2 only because the predictability, entertainment level was just so low, and the predictability was so high, and the entertainment value was so low.
Well, speaking of entertainment value being so low, we had The Rock's championship celebration where he introduced a new WWE title. And ladies and gentlemen, to profound and kind of iterate our disgust and disdain for the new WWE Championship, the following segment has been brought to you by Cartman.
Yes, it looked like a steaming pile of dog shit, and they took it off. They took it off a Create Belt on WWE 13, and I think that's just plain retarded. To be quite honest with you, they shouldn't have done that. If they're gonna come up with a new title design, make it original and don't take it off a goddamn video game.
And ladies and gentlemen, that following segment was brought to you by Cartman from South Park. WWE, really, what are you doing? I mean, yeah, the spinner belt was bad. It was time for it to go, but then you replace it with a piece of garbage, and that's basically what it is, right?
I'm gonna be honest. Like I said, my only thing, I look at the title, and I didn't think it was bad. The only thing that when I first saw it, I'm like, "Are you serious?" With the sides. The side paneling was just pathetic.
Yeah, the Brahma folds.
Now, what's scaring me is what's going to happen with other champions, like CM Punk, because they're gonna put like the fist logo with the icons, or CM Punk, is he gonna put them? Or John Cena, is they gonna put the "You Can't See Me" logo, or somebody else in their logos? That's what scares me. That's what truly, 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 truly scares me. It's like, are you gonna do this with every single champion?
Honestly, at that point, it gets a 1 out of 5 for me. But then next up, we had Rock actually talk.
I give it a 0 out of 5, to be quite honest with you.
Well, we got to factor into our account what also took place in there. Rock now starting to talk about who he's going to face at WrestleMania between John Cena and CM Punk. Now, he really didn't say a name because next, we heard Cena's music and Cena coming out. Then now the old spinner belt was already taken to the back, and then from behind, CM Punk clocks John Cena and then drops the spinner belt right at the prone body of John Cena and then starts pointing towards The Rock. So, I will say this: if we don't get, as Cartman's getting some more snacks, if we don't get a clear finish between Cena and CM Punk, for some reason, my biggest fear is a triple threat match between Rock, Cena, and CM Punk. And then again, it's just a fear. I'm not saying it could actually happen. Overall score on this week's Monday Night Raw, I'm going to go 3.5 out of 5. The opening segment with Cena and CM Punk, I thought it was good. The opening match with Mark Henry and Sin Cara, it was, your typical squash match. And then with Great Khali coming out, again, kind of leads me to believe for a storyline building between these two. The Miz and Antonio Cesaro in the no disqualification match, I thought was very, very good. We had Alberto Del Rio and Dolph Ziggler, one of the matches of the night, if not the match of the night between these two. And bravo for Ricardo Rodriguez for keeping up on his cardio. Then we had the very weird segment with Wade Barrett. I still don't know what to think about that. The mixed tag match with Brodus Clay and Tensai Naomi defeating Epico, Prima, and Rosa Mendez. To me, again, the standout Naomi. She really did impress me. The State of the Union, followed by Jack Swagger defeating Daniel Bryan. I thought it was a very good match. Vickie Guerrero announcing Brad Maddox is the assistant to the supervising manager of Monday Night Raw. Well, at least they're doing something with the kid. That's all I'm going to say. At least they're doing something with them. And then Vince McMahon drops the bomb on everyone about the announcement for next week, Vince McMahon versus Paul Heyman. The Shield taking on Ryback, Sheamus, and Jericho, I thought was a very good six-man tag. Damian Sandow and Kofi Kingston, again, the real purpose of this was to bring back R-Truth, and he did a phenomenal job. Good to have R-Truth back, and it's also good to see that his knee is actually holding out. Randy Orton taking on Kane, I really, really wanted it to be better, but from being there in the crowd, it really did seemed to suck the life right out of the audience. And then the Rock Championship celebration where he unveils that new title belt, it just makes me nauseated just to think about it. So that's why I give it a 3.5 out of 5. Rick, I want to start with you. Your overall score and thoughts on Monday Night Raw.
Well, I have to admit there was not as many squash matches as there were last week on Raw, so I have to give it a little bit more improvements. I definitely have to agree with you about the Alberto Del Rio Dolph Ziggler match. That was definitely, without a shadow of doubt, the match of the night. I think one of the best spots that I liked was the inverted superplex.
Oh, last
That was
person
a
I've seen
spot.
that you know what, the last person I've seen use that was William Regal back in WCW.
Yeah, I hadn't seen that spot in ages. That was incredible. So, like I said, the six-man tag between the Shield and Ryback, Cena, and Jericho. Yeah, okay. I think they're just trying to help put over the Shield, which is they're doing a great job because the Shield does need to be put over.
By the way, I'm still recovering from Jericho's pyro. It nearly scared me and my twin sister and about half the people in my section to death.
Yeah, that'll do it for you. As far as any of the other major matches, I think they're just setting up for the road to WrestleMania. Jack Swagger is definitely he's making his road. I definitely see him fighting Alberto Del Rio. I think him and Alberto Del Rio are definitely going to be going nose to nose. It makes sense. Where
Well,
Dolph
yeah,
Ziggler,
he does. It does because Swagger won the Elimination Chamber and the right to face him.
yes, but if you look at his gimmick meets.
Yes.
It matches Alberto Del Rio because he's, of course, a foreigner and he's, all American. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
My question is where does Dolph Ziggler fit into that mix? Because sooner or later he will have to fit in. That he's gonna have to fit in there, and it has to be in some. Is it somewhere? Is the rule somewhere at WrestleMania or after WrestleMania? Is it 1 year?
Well, he didn't get it at WrestleMania. He got it at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view last summer.
Oh, okay. I thought it was 1 year. I thought it was at WrestleMania. I thought he had to get it by WrestleMania.
No, I think it's by the summer's end, I believe.
Okay, because if he only had it
no, it's by the Money in the Bank pay-per-view because they yeah, it's by the Money in the Bank pay-per-view.
I
Yeah.
was hoping I was hoping it was by WrestleMania because I mean, then it would have given him an ultimatum to make a choice.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Anyway, so that moving on. I think you know, I'm just like the end of the segment when I saw the new title, I was just kind of horrified. I can't believe they gave it to The Rock without belt, but like I said, I think they got to be doing that with everybody. The segment, it is what it is. We didn't see the Undertaker again. You know, a lot of people believe me. Is he coming back or is he not? Who knows? Next week you'll tell. I think that next week we'll definitely know if he is or not. So I'll give it I'll give it a 3 out of 5. I can't be yes or no. I can't give it a solid yes or a solid no.
The Undertaker's appearance on Monday Night Raw, that was something I did talk a little bit about with Cody Hawkins on my Raw preview earlier today. Let's go to Cartman. Cartman, your overall thoughts and score on Monday Night Raw?
It had its good points and it had its weak points. One of the weak points being the squash match with Henry and Sin Cara that I think was just retarded to do, and then the new WWE title. I'll be honest, like I said, it looks like a pile of dog shit.
So, what we want to know now from you guys out there, the viewers and subscribers, your thoughts on Monday Night Raw this week. Be sure you put your comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and favorite this video. Rick Starr is over on blogtalkradio.com/hardcore wrestling radio every Wednesday night. Rick, what you got coming up Wednesday?
Of course, we're going to have a Elimination Chamber Fallout show where, of course, we're going to talk about what happened at the Chamber, what happened at this past Monday Night Raw, and as always, you know, we have our latest wrestling news and rumors, and of course, Andy is going to have his famous rant about, you know, what happened to the title. He was not too happy when he saw the title, so be sure to check in for Andy's famous rants.
And that's every Wednesday night on blogtalkradio.com/hardcore wrestling radio. Be sure you check that out. Cartman's over on youtube.com/KillerXKenny. Cartman, what's going on over your neck of the woods in South Park?
As of right now, I'm debating whether I want to upload Far Cry 3 or not, because you said you got flagged for it by Ubisoft, so I'm debating whether I want to upload Far Cry 3, but basically just Minecraft and racing stuff.
Also, don't forget to please subscribe to youtube.com/WrestleGamer and youtube.com/ZFXTV Network. So for the Illuminous one, the Shining Star Rick Starr, and the man from South Park simply known as Cartman, I'm Double B Billy Boudreaux, saying thank you very much for watching.
Stoke answers. Stoke answers. Stoke answers. Stoke answers. Spiritual meaning. Stoke answers. Stoke answers. I'm Haley. Ring rose. Stoke answers.
My name's Andrew Weatherall.
Spiritual meaning. Stoke answers.